painting that I don't really care for just because I wanted this type of background. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with mostly stuff that I like. I want to clean this up a tiny bit and get some more of that red in there too. This is that area where it's kind of translucent, so it's tough because there is some shadow, but also there's a lot of that cool, like, bright influence from the translucence of bell pepper. Again, keep stepping back, keep looking at what you're doing. And I'm going to go in with some highlights here. I just want to get them in so that I know what I'm doing if we're going to clean this up a little bit. You can see though this was pretty simple. The highlights are going to be very bright and very cool because this light is a very, very cool light. But they're still on a bell pepper. So definitely not going to forget that there's bell pepper here. And instead of just making them so bright that they're like in your face, oh it's white, I'm actually going to kind of cool them down and make them closer to the actual shadow value. But it'll be so cool that it will really strike your eye anyway, so you can see some of that. I don't want it too bright. I don't like that kind of stuff. I might even cool it down more than this. And when you're doing highlights, look for the drawing. There's actually drawing in there. This highlight on the left here, it actually kind of cuts off right where the shadow starts for the other piece, and that's how we can tell there's a shadow because most of that's the same value. So you want to really be careful and make sure that you're paying attention to that kind of thing. Okay, I am going to go ahead and go one step brighter. One step brighter. Very big, very luscious, very blue. I like blue a lot. I particularly like Williamsburg Ultramarine Blue. I think I bought that because I was like, oh, I'm feeling bougie. I'm going to buy a really expensive. Yeah, I will take it up here because it is very bright. Okay, so another thing about highlights before I start putting this on is that only one of your highlights can be the brightest bright. The other highlights may look like they're the same brightness, but they're not. First off, they're not. I'm going to go ahead and soften this while we're talking. They're not because they're farther away from the light. It's not a possibility. You might not be able to tell, even nobody may be able to tell. However, it's very true, they are not as bright as they're not going to be as bright as each other. So for this case, we have the light coming from right here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to darken this as much as possible. This light is going directly here. So that's going to be my brightest highlight. You need to make that decision when you're painting. You got to go, which of these should be my brightest bright? Everything else should be more subtle. It's okay if you put it in really bright, because you can go ahead and take it out, because that's why I paint with oils and not other mediums. Ooh, that is very bright. I'm going to tone down some of this for the rest of it. And cool it down too. I really like it. I really want to get that cool. So you can see this highlight's not as bright as that one. This highlight's not as bright as that one. Oops, now it is. I like to say oops a lot. I used to do tattoos, and I would mess with people by going oops in the middle of my, you know, maybe it was like, you know, whatever I was doing, I would just kind of go oops, and then it was hilarious and it scared people, and that's why I don't do tattoos anymore. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everyone thought it was funny, and I don't do I do tattoos still sometimes on the side, because that's just how I roll. Now I'm gonna add in some of this subtle area here that I see. It's really awesome, and it really turns that form. So the bell pepper, you know, a lot of it's that same value. So a lot of the form turning we're going to do is with these highlights. And that's why I'm going to be a little more, normally I just, bam, highlights, done, nothing else to do. But since this is so important to the shape and form of this bell pepper, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everything is the way that I want it. And I'm going to go back in and just cut into these highlights to make sure that they follow my desired look. Cut here. They kind of come around in a little more a circle. So I'm going to kind of take this, have a little bit of a richer, darker cut off here. Rich. And this one is like super like liney. It looks just like a line. I want to kind of make that look like a line. But I'll go over it a little bit more. So this is the one I want to be the brightest. I have decided. A lot of the decisions you get to make yourself. So, what do you like? Well, emphasize it. It's very cool. Okay, and then I'm gonna add one more of that. Super bright. I wonder if anyone will even watch to the section where I talk about when I tattoo. I'd like, I think it's funny or weird. I don't know how many people watch full videos. Just trying to get the shapes of these, because this is a very influential, it's very influential to the shape of this bell pepper. Just want to make sure they look right to me. A little too bright. I'm going to hold it down just a little bit. And I'm seeing this one's a little bright compared to its friend next door. So I'm going to kind of tone it down. I am almost satisfied with this, but not quite. And I think I spend most of my working time on the last little bit of the painting. So when I get really close to done, I tend to take a lot of breaks, which is good. I think is the best way to do it. But it also really slows me down. And then, you know, it's tough because it's necessary. I'm going to add a little more highlight to this green stem, but I want to keep it a little more green. It's just this area right here. I like the way it looks, but it's not quite accurate. Let me tone this down just slightly. don't want to add too much detail because then I'll have to add more detail to the rest of it. I think I am almost set. But I want to add a little bit more. So now that I'm kind of almost done, or I'm done more or less, I really kind of want to add a little bit more vibrancy in these areas where they kind of gets lost a little bit. So I'm going to kind of add some, just go back into my brights with some this and some red. Just stick it back in. Not too much going on, but just enough. It gets a little lost. Yeah, some orange, cad red, mix it up, and I want that to go right in here. It's got all that brilliant translucent. Really beautiful. I love painting bell peppers. Don't like eating them. I love painting them. More because this area is a little darker than what I'm seeing. A little more red, like this here. I kind of like that a little better. It kind of brings it out more. And there's a little bit of a subtle reflection of the background, so that makes it a little cooler over here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and step away and see if there needs to be any more done, but I'm gonna take a short break. I've only decided to do one more thing, so I'm actually gonna just show you up close. I know it's kind of hard to see this painting. I'll go ahead and just post a photo of it in a second after the end. But I want to bring some of this to indicate form a little bit more. For drawing, I like to just stick with what I see, but occasionally I want to emphasize something. So I'm going to bring a little bit of this forward and down. And I'm going to emphasize some of the fact that this is casting a shadow on the apple as well. I mean on the bell pepper. Apple is for next time. And there's a tiny bit of this. It's tough because my brush is not that small. I didn't want to go too small on my brushes because then I'll get into these details that I'm doing right now, literally the bigger brushes to prevent this from happening, but I'm still doing it. And then I'll end up like just overworking it or getting too fixated on one part. Let's see. Yeah, I think I like that. This was just me adding the olive green and that kind of thing. And another part that I want is there's a cast shadow a little bit on this bell pepper. It's mostly over here. But it does sometimes adjust. I want to differentiate that stem a little more, so I don't want it to be quite, I don't want it to look cartoony, so you don't want to outline it. So I want to make sure that it looks like it's a shadow, and and then I paint back in because I painted it so big. I paint back in with my original, whatever's originally back there. I pull it down a little bit so it looks like. This is very cool. All on this whole side is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a little better. I think I'll keep it like that. I think I like it. Thank you so much for joining me on my little mini adventure of painting the bell pepper. I hope to see you again. Let me go ahead and try to get a close-up of it. You can see it a little better here. You can see that there's, of course, lights, darks on both sides, as far as there's shadow lights, shadow darks, background lights, background darks, and of course lights and darks on the bell pepper itself, as well as in the stem. When you do the stem, just make sure you get that in there. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please go ahead and visit us at LosAngelesAcademyOfArt.com. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I'm here to answer them. You can also email me at info@LosAngelesAcademyOfArt.com, or come visit us in person. We are in Koreatown in Los Angeles, and I'm glad to come teach you this stuff in person. I will see you soon. Thank you, and have a good day.